Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma shalli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahu bi ihsan ila yaumiddin, amma ba'du. Hello students, we discuss about the operation management today. Like the last week, we have studied this method, and I want you to study again about the operation management, because I think you will be an engineer and you will get a job in this field. You will be an engineer, you will be product manager, or etc. I want you to know the focus of the operation management is the production activity. The production activity, we have to in operation excellence, because the operation management affect to competition for company or for nation. We know the basic function in the organization business like this. In the organization have the marketing, and then the finance, and the core of the business. It should have a operation. This is the heart of the organization, because this is the production of product. From product, marketing can sell to customer, and customer buy, and then the money come to the organization or the business or the company in the finance, and then the finance will give some money to production activity and for marketing. So this is the hard activity in business. That is you, a technique or engineer in the operation manager. You have to know here that the production process is give the value added to your product. You have to give a value added to your product from input material into the product, good or service. So there is a value added here, and this value will give you a price of your product. How many price you will get is considered to how many value you added to your product. You have to imagine that the value added and the product packages, the value added is the difference between the cost of input and the value or price of output. The value added is not a cost of input and the value or price of output. The value added is a function of your product for customer. How customer price your product is come from the value added that will they get from your product. So the customer need a product, that functional product for their need. So we have to give the value added to our product to bring to the customer, and this is not only cost of your input, cost of production. So the value added is not cost of production. This means is cost of production, and not only price to your product, but this is about the function of your product, function of your product for customer. So you have to know how customer use your product, and how customer use your product, and what customer want to your product. So you can add the value to your product and bring the best product to your customer. Okay, another side is the packages. The packages is interesting. The packages are a combination of good and service. Yes, the packages is combination of good and service. Product packages can make a company more competitive. And we know this, the good and service, we cannot exactly divide a company that's good or that product is good or service. For example here, in automobile assembly, maybe they have the service, for example, steel making. So we know this in automobile assembly, that is the good product. Assembly is good, but the steel making, we can use this product as a service. Okay, so we cannot exactly divide the business, that is the good service, this is a good product or this service product. Okay, maybe this is a continuum, that the integration of the good product and service product in the company. We know about the unique unique operation for the unique product. So, but we can see this in the food processor for culinary business. I think they have the input in here, many input matter, energy, labor, building equipment, and then they have the process like this, the cleaning, then making can, then cutting, then cooking, then packaging, and then labeling, and the output is, that is the product, can or vegetables. In this food processor, in the hospital process, maybe have now here in the hospital process, you know, the input is the doctor, nurse, hospital, medical supplies, equipment, and laboratories. And the processing, the unit of processing in hospital process, it can be examination, surgery, then monitoring, and then medication, and then the therapy. And the output, their output or their product, that is their output or their product, is healthy of patient. So we can see this, that the manufacturing or service is continuum, I think. In manufacturing, we have the tangible asset, and in the service, we know that is intangible asset. Okay. Maybe we have the challenge here: production of good or delivery of service. Production of good or delivery of service. Production of good, that is the tangible asset, tangible output, because that is good. And the delivery of service, an act, that is an action. So that is the service. So this is intangible. Intangible. Service job category, it can be government, wholesale, financial service, healthcare, then personal service, business service, and education. This is the service job category, that common category, I think. And the key difference here, the customer contact, and then the uniformity of input, and then wrapper content of job, and uniformity of output, and then measurement of productivity. That is the key concept in the production. The measurement, how we measure the productivity. How we measure the productivity. That is the big question in product management. So this is the point that can make a company different. That is in good production of good, or the delivery of service. We can see in this parameter, customer contact, uniformity of input, wrapper content of job, uniformity of output, measurement of productivity, how we measure the productivity, and then the production and delivery, and then the quality assurance, pay quality assurance, and then amount of inventory, and then how we evaluate the product or the work, and ability to patent design. Can we patent our design? That is the key difference for the production of good or the delivery of service for this matter. We make a difference of good and service. Before we have studied about this, that in the goods or the manufacture, we know that the customer contact is low, and in service the customer contact is high, and then the wrapper content is low, and then in the service the wrapper content is high, and then the output is tangible, and for manufacture, that is manufacture, that is a tangible asset. In the service is intangible. Measurement of productivity in good or manufacture, it is easy because we can count the unit of the product. It is easy to count the unit of the product. How about in the service? How we can measure the productivity in the university activity like this? How we can measure the activity, the productivity? It is the big difficult in the service company. Opportunity to correct problem, it is high, in the service is low, and then the inventory marks later, and then evaluation, it is easier. In evaluation is easier because measure is easier, and that is patentable. Yes, usually, but in service it's not usual. If you be operation manager, what will you do? You have to know the scope of operation management. The operation management include, you have to make the forecasting. What is the forecasting? You have to assume the customer demand. You have to calculate, you have to assume, you have to research about the customer demand to make the good forecasting. And you have to know about the capacity, and then you have to make a schedule of production schedule, and then you have to manage your inventory you have to assuring the quality of your product, and you have to motivating your employee to improve the productivity. Yes, consider the productivity. You have to motivating your employee, and then the location facilities, and the supply chain. You have to manage your supply chain and more. Okay. That is the scope of operation management. So this is the heart of the business or the heart of the organization, because everything is here: forecasting, capacity, scheduling, inventory, quality, and then the facilities and the location, and then the motivating employee to improve the productivity. That is the scope of the operation management. Oh, very huge job, okay? Very huge job. To improve your understanding about the operation management, we give you an example here of the operation in good products, the good producing. For example, farming, mining, construction, and then the manufacturing, and then power generation. That is the good product, good producing. In the storage or transportation, you have about the tracking, mail service, taxis, buses, airlines, hotel, and etc. In exchange, can be banking, then the library, and renting, yeah? And in the entertainment, it can be film, radio, television, concert, recording. That is the example of the operation in the every field in the business. And the communication, newspaper, radio, television, telephone, satellite, and etc. You can see this fact that by time to time, by year to year, the service company is dramatically improved, or it is not dramatic, I think. This is the increase in the year of 1980. The service cost increase. In contrary, the manufacturing cost decrease. So, a future business is the service. The future business is service, not good production. So, improve your creativity to making the good service, and etc. That is the drawback about the manufacturing job. But the productivity, increasing productivity allow companies to maintain or increase their output using fewer workers, fewer workers. So, to improve the productivity, increase the output, but not add the worker. Okay? And in outsourcing, some manufacturing work has been outsourced to more productivity company. The manufacturing using the outsource. In another side, in service company, they have the challenge to manage the service. In service job, often less structure. In service job is less structure. And then the contact to the customer is higher. Customer contact is higher. and then the skill level are lower, and then the service hire many low skill entry level worker. Employer turnover is higher, and then input variability is higher, and service performance can be affected by workers' personal factor. So very unique. Workers' personal factor. That is in service performance or in service company. So in service company, it is very personal worker. How the manager of operation or how to product manager making a decision? They can making a decision by the models, by quantitative approach, by the quantitative approach, by the analysis of trade-off, by the system approach, or establishing priorities and ethics. And as the key decision of the operation manager, they have answer about 5 questions here. What resource and what amount? Is talking about the resource and the amount. And when needed, schedule, order, and then where work to be done, and then how, this talking about the design, and then who is talking about a worker, I think. It's talking about the worker. That is the 5 fundamental questions for operation manager. In system design, decision making, you operation manager have to study about the capacity, the location, and then a range of department, and then product and service planning, and then make a planning for production, and then placement of equipment, acquisition and placement of the equipment, and then in operation, the personnel, inventory, scheduling, project management, and quality. In operation, that is the decision making in system design, and that is the decision making in system operation. What to decide by manager in system operation? It can be personnel, inventory, scheduling, project management, and then the quality assurance. That is in operation. In design, it's talking about the capacity, location, then the equipment. How we decision making? Decision making can do by the model, quantitative approach, analysis of trade-off, and the system approach. Model is an abstraction of reality. You know about the model? That is the abstraction of the reality. What are the pros and cons of the model? What are the plus and minus of the model? What is it? The model can be physical, can be schematic, and can be mathematical. You are in chemical engineering, always talking about the model is the mathematic. But when you come to the laboratory, you will see the model in the basic, the mini plan, the mini of distillation. So that is the physical model. There are many benefits for the model because using the model is easy to use. Model is easy to use. And then the less expensive. Less expensive. That is the benefits of the model. And require user to organize, increase understanding the problem. To increase understanding the problem, study with the model, we can increase understanding to the problem and enable the what if question. What if question. We can make the scenario here. Scenario. And then consistent tool for evaluation and standardization format. But in this model, we have to power of the mathematics. In other side, the model have the limitation. What is the quantitative information may be emphasis over qualitative. They need the quantitative information. And then the model may be incorrectly applied and result misinterpreted. It can be incorrectly applied. So the result is error or not good to interpret. Okay? And non-equipped user may not comprehend the rule on how to use the model. He's talking about how to use the model. Not everybody can use the model. The use of the model does not guarantee good decision, but this is not guarantee good decision by using the model. We can make the good model or the best model, but we cannot apply this in the operation. That is the fact. Not guarantee. How about quantitative approaches? In quantitative approaches, we have to calculate using the linear programming for optimization in production process, and then queuing technique and inventory model, and then the project, and then the statistical model. That is the quantitative approach. And in analysis of trade-off, decision on the amount of inventory to stock, increase costs. When we decide the amount of inventory, when we decide to add amount of inventory, it can be implied in the increasing costs of holding inventory and the level of customer service. Yes, level of customer service. The higher cost, the higher service for customer. We know about this phenomena, Pareto Phenomenon. A few factors account for a high percentage of the accurate of some event, and 80% of problems are caused by 80% of problem caused by 20% of activities. How do we identify the vital few? And in the ethical issues, we know about the statement, financial statement, and the safety for our worker, the safety of our product, the quality, and then the environment, and then the community, and then the hiring the worker, and then closing facilities, and then worker right, the worker right. That is the ethical issue. About the worker rights, you know about the omnibus law. That is the new issue. He's talking about the worker right. because the 80% of problem are caused by the activities, the production. Business operation overlap. You know about this. We cannot divide exactly from the operation and the marketing and then finance. It is the integrate, and there is many overlap here. For example, operation to marketing. What is the overlap for operation to marketing? It can be the quality of the product, quality. That is the overlap of the marketing and operation. How about overlap marketing and finance? It's talking about the cost of production, and then the facility or equipment. Operation need the good equipment, but finance don't have the money to buy the good equipment. So there is the overlap here. How about the overlap in marketing and finance? What is the overlap here? Marketing and finance. And what is the overlap here for the three sections in operation, marketing, and finance? What is here? The operation in business. Okay, there are many questions here to explain about the overlap in business operation, about the operation management, marketing management, and then finance management. We have talking here is operating management, and the next topic we will talking about the marketing management, and finally we will talking about the finance management, that is the industrial management. Okay. Okay, next, that is the condition it must be faced by operation, industrial engineering, maintenance, public relation, the personal, and then processing, and then the distribution, and the legal, and the accounting. Yes, this is the field that the operation interface. And finally, we're talking about the trend in business today. What is the trend in business today? The major trend is talking about the business that use the internet, e-commerce, e-business. For example, today we have used the e-learning. So I make my service program. I use my Schoology.id. That is the service company by my company, that is the Global Solution System, or GSS. That means that is the service company. I have produced the accounting software, and there are 3 companies that use my software, and this is my product, my Schoology.id, but I use it for myself and for my friend, and I didn't launch this to another customer. Yes, this is the trend business today in using the internet. And then talking about the technology. The trend in business is technology. And then the globalization, and then the supply chain. You know about the supply chain? And another is outsourcing. That is the trend in business, the outsourcing. For example, the Gojek business. Gojek. That is the outsourcing system.
somebody making the system, the software like this, and then every people can join this and work for the project. So that is the outsourcing system, I think. That is the service business. And the security and then ethical behavior. That is the ethical behavior is the main trend business here today. You can abandon about the ethical. In management technology, the application of the scientific discoveries. So the technology is talking about the application of scientific discoveries to the develop and improvement good and service. So product and service technology, and then there are product and service technology, and then the process technology, and then the information technology. That is the simple product supply chain. For example, here the supplier come from supplier. We can use the direct supplier, and then the producer, and the product come to the producer, and then come to the distributor, and finally the product come to the customer, final customer. The supply chain, that means a sequence of activities. That is the activities and organization involved in producing and delivering. Activities for producing and delivering a good or service. That is the supply chain. The sequence of activities and organization. So the supply chain can be activities or organization. What for? To producing and delivering. What is the produce and delivering? The good or the service. That means the supply chain. For example here, the supply chain for bread. In the state's production, we have the farmer produce and harvest wheat. The value added is $0.15. So the value of product is $0.15. And then with transport to mill, that means it can see this, that means cost of transport. So the wheat must be transported to mill, and the value added is 0.08. So the value of product is 0.23. And then mill produce flour, and the value added is 0.15. So the value of the product now is 0.38. And then for flour transported to baker, the value added is 0.08. So the value of product to 0.46. And the baker produced bread, and the value added is 0.54. And then the value of product is $1. And then the bread transport to the grocery is 0.08. So the value of our product now is 1.08. And then the grocery store display and sells bread, that's the value added is 0.21, and then the value of product is 1.29. So the value added of the product, the total value added for this product is $1.29. That is, it can be the price of the product. Yes, it can be the price of the product, but we can mark up to get the more from this value added. So that is the price. It can implement, that is the price of the product, 1.29. And that is the other important trend today, the ethical behavior, and then the operation strategy, and then few resources of worker, and then revenue management, and then the analysis and improvement process analysis and improvement process, analysis and improvement, that is for, it is chemical engineering like, I think, chemical engineering like. We can use product process integration. You can use the simulation to process integration, to process analysis and improvement. Increase regulation and product reliability. And then the lean production. Okay, that is the important trend today, and that is the final of our talking about the operation management. And you have to respond this trend to making your business your own business. Okay, thank you for attention. We continue to the next topic in the next week. That's for me, and thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.